What's up YouTube? This is Garza from Solid Modified, and today we're going to be working on the 180SX. So we haven't worked on this old girl in a while. She's been sitting outside gathering dust, and let's go check her out. So this right here is my Nissan 180SX with a 2JZ in it. If you guys haven't seen these videos, I have a whole build series on this car from literally beginning to how it sits right now. But there is one thing that I kind of cheaped out on the build that bothered me a little bit. On the rear of this car, I have Z32 brakes off of a Nissan 300ZX, and as you can see I have two of them, one for the car brakes and one for my hydraulic handbrake. So brakes work really good. The only thing is the car stops like shit. Why? Because we got the stock freaking rotor on the front of here. Stock rotor, stock caliper. By the way, she's looking dirty, but today we're going to change that. Now, I'm not a guy to go out and buy like the most baller stuff out there, but I do like to buy stuff that works at an affordable price. So here's what I got. These right here are pretty much an OEM big brake upgrade for 240SX 180SX. These brakes right here are off of an Infiniti Q45. Hey, why don't you go Z32? Well, you know, the reason is, yes, they might work a tiny bit better according to the forums, but they are also like twice the price, if not more, than these. So I'll just tell you how much I got these brakes for. I got these brakes for $120 with the calipers and the rotors, and they got pretty beefy pads on there, so I'm not really going to get new pads or anything like that. I'm just gonna throw them on. They already have stainless braided lines on there, so it should be a pretty quick and easy, straightforward video. But I'm going to be filming my process step by step in case you want to do the same to your car. First things first, I'm going to clean these puppies up with some brake cleaner, and I'm going to take the pads out and the metal brackets and probably just spray them down with some heat resistant paint. Spray them down black because gray is ugly. I already ripped my glove. Okay, so I went ahead and cleaned the calipers up. They look kind of dirty only because that's just the paint that was previously on there coming off. So I just cleaned all the grease and grime off of everything. I went ahead and separated the calipers from these, I don't know what to call it, the floater mounts. I went ahead and took all the floaters off and the bolts, and I just kept everything left right just so I can put everything back in the same way that I got it. So now I just taped off everything. I didn't really want to get paint on, like the bleeder ports. So we're gonna go ahead and put these on a piece of cardboard. We're going to paint it up. Now the paint we're going to be using is called Duplicolor Engine Enamel with Ceramic. Now the reason why I'm using this is because brakes can sometimes get really hot, and this withstands heat up to 500 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to lay a coat or a couple coats of this on these calipers. Okay, the brackets are drying and the calipers are drying. Don't get mad at me from hanging them from the brake lines. While I do that, I'm just staring at this old girl. She's looking pretty dirty. So as you can see, we're just gonna hose it off, give it a little bath real quick before we put these on. Anyways, we'll just give these time to dry and cure for like an hour. That way we can wash the car, pull the wheels off and stuff like that. Woo! She cleans up good. I even gave the inside a little vacuum. I don't think I showed you guys yet, but I got some nice used 180SX floor mats that I'm going to have to clean. They're a little dirty, and I'm gonna have to cut this one to fit it around the cage, but no big deal. So we'll knock that out too. But this thing has been pretty much neglected since the last drift event I took it to a few months ago. And finally I gave it a little wash and a little vacuum. She's looking good, cleaned up the seats real nice. We're gonna take the car, we're just gonna put the front end on the cement so we can lift it up in the air. Tried to fire this little girl up. Of course, battery's dead. The neglect is real. So I had to push her onto the concrete. Almost broke my back, but we're good. Got this puppy jacked up, got her on some jack stands. Now we're just gonna go ahead and pull the wheel off. I think this job's gonna be fairly simple. We just got a few basic tools here, and hopefully those calipers are just about done drying. That way, when I am done pulling all this apart, we're ready to go, no downtime. We do have to put these back together. So the way they go on is they go like this, and this sits on top of that. And then there's those floating pins that allow the brake to move back and forward And since this is the right side, we have the right side right here. So here's the 2 pins, and here's the 2 bolts, right? So the bolts thread into these pins, and the pins go on here. I'm probably gonna throw some anti-seize on these before I throw them in, just because it's the right thing to do. So let me go grab some of that. Okay, anti-seize is on. Bolts are in, nice and free. Got good play to them. If these are seized, replace them, or else your brake pads are gonna wear uneven. Luckily, when I got these, it looks like the brake pads are worn pretty even, so that means that this is a good operating caliper. So throw the bolts in. We're gonna throw the pads back on. We'll probably wipe them down real quick. You could put some high temp grease on the back of this if you want, but I think I'm just gonna throw it in there. And I got my 2 metal clips that I'm also gonna throw back in there. And then we're pretty much ready to put the caliper on the car. Okay guys, I got the new setup right here, caliper, rotor, and my 10mm. So now what you want to do is you want to loosen this 10mm and separate the brake line from the car, and then quickly, because we're going to be dumping out brake fluid, that's why I got towels down there, and I got some more towels right here. Quickly, we're going to take our new braided line and we are just going to thread that on real quick, just so we can lose as little fluid as possible. So let's get to it. Okay, the new line is on. I wiped everything down, it's tight. Now I gotta take this thing, slap it back in there. And I just threw the caliper on because I didn't want to scratch it, and it was just easier just to throw a bolt in. So now we can just pop it off, slap the rotor on, and then put it back on. I gotta wait to bleed the brake line until I have an extra set of hands or feet. So everything's just about on, and it's looking good, spinning freely. Caliper bolted right on with the same bolts. I mean, it would have took the same line, but luckily these ones had some upgraded lines on them. So I've just been checking them out, checking them for leaks. The rotor and the caliper, noticeably bigger. Let me put this one next to the new one and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here is the difference between the old and the new. These calipers are still good, and these rotors, so I'm just gonna freaking get rid of them. It's quite an upgrade, and I'm glad I painted them. I was just gonna throw them on because I'm usually like YOLO about everything, but these came out really good, and I took my time on the cleaning and the paint, and I cleaned up the rotor real nice. I was gonna sand it to get them resurfaced, but I don't think there is a point, because these right here, whoop, I don't have them in. These pads right here actually came off of a car with this rotor, and the pads are still in great shape. So the pads are already used to the rotor, so we're just going to leave those together. And once we throw them on, we'll just, of course, we're going to drive it and make sure everything works good. But now we just have to do this other side. It's getting dark, so I'm going to put you on a time lapse and bang it out. Time to lower her down. Back to the ground. So I just wanted to get everything, get the car back on the ground tonight, but I just need an extra hand to help me bleed it. But I can put the wheels on because luckily, well, bam, I got holes in my freaking fenders, so it looks like we can just crack those real easily with the wheels on. So perks of chopping out your fender well. Brakes are kind of important, so I don't really care to flex or anything like that. I don't need no Z32 brakes. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that video of me just swapping out the brakes real quick. It was nothing crazy, but I do document everything I do on this build, this 180SX. She is turning out great. Man, if you guys go all the way back and watch the first video of this thing and you saw the condition it was in, and then you saw it now, oh my god, this makes me so happy. We got a lot of stuff coming up for this car. Nothing really too big. But you know, pretty soon we're gonna put a standalone in here or make some more power. We gotta put a different transmission in here, because if we don't, we're gonna blow this one up. So I'm not sure if you guys are watching the E36 1JZ build, but I'm actually building a 1JZ for my E36. Go check out that video. I should have another one out here in a week or so. This transmission is gonna get pulled out of this car, and I'm actually gonna put it in my E36, because I should be making around 320 horsepower, which is gonna be perfect for that W58, and it'll be right where it likes to be. If I keep it on this car, I'm gonna blow it up. Plus, the only reason why I haven't turned up the boost is because of the transmission. But anyways, guys, I'm just blabbering on. I just wanted to keep you guys in the loop and let you know what's going on. I appreciate you guys for watching this video. This is Garza from Slightly Modified. I'm out. Peace.